Greetings, test, test, there we go. Forgot to turn on my microphone. Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone's had a good weekend. There's been interesting things going on in the news. And I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I hope everyone's families are safe, and I hope everyone's doing pretty well today. A lot of interesting news. Some of you have probably seen a bunch of different things going on around the world. So again, I hope everyone's doing well. Today I'm not really much of the gaming mood, so I'm gonna write some code. I want to build a small application just for myself. I've built a couple versions of it, but I've been procrastinating on building the front end, so I decided to kind of take a slower approach to it. So I'm going to build something small in Node, and then keep expanding on it from there. I have the C# version of it done, but I wanted to build something pretty lightweight. So I have a couple different things here, the budget trackers, and I want to start writing some code to store my budget. So I already have some code to store it, but I want to do something that's quick, and can I get that going? So I'm just going to do something in Node, and then do something with the front end. So let's do the API. Let's do npm init. I'm going to do this in so npm I express validation. I don't even care about that per se. Let's take a look here. I think it's what express validator is the name of the tool. So express validator, yeah. So there we go. Express validator, cores, mongoose. Let's take a look at that mongoose. Do I need to install anything else? Let's see. We could do GraphQL too, but I just need to know whether I need. Yeah, it's just mongoose. I don't need to do the whole bunch of other stuff. What else do I need? I think that's pretty much it. Express validator. Let me take a look. I got a couple projects that I've written, and let's open up some Visual Studio Code. Let's take a look. I built my expected move. Oh yeah, I used the .env file. And let's do nodemon. So that should be the basics of what I need. It's gonna be fairly simplistic, and I'll build it upon how I do my budget. I don't have my budget up. Let's take a look. So every month I do a budget, because I'm weird that way, and so I think I'm gonna just start with the simple pieces of my budget. So let's open this up in let's open this up in WebStorm. We'll see. WebStorm. Let's see if WebStorm is nicer to me today. Last time, the copy and paste was really slow, despite the fact that I have a pretty decent machine. I have 64 gigs of RAM in here, and an i9 processor, so see if I can find the folder. Give me a moment. API, cool. All right. So we got our node modules. Let's just create a new file. Call userver.js. I could use TypeScript, but again, this is a quick build. And again, I can make this much more complicated, but I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. I'll do a routes folder. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit so people can see appearance. Zoom. There we go. Oh, come on. Zoom. 75. Cool. So we'll build our routes from here. Our models, and we'll just keep controllers, and we'll kind of expand on this and eventually switch over to something else. I like building APIs. I'm a pretty big fan of it. I don't have anything that I really want to initiate for my server. Let's do const express equals require express. Start up our app. That's pretty helpful here. Let's include our routes. I'll create a folder, yeah. .routes, const cores. Yeah, that's it. It's been pretty helpful so far. I don't think I have anything specifically here. Let's do our port, and we'll offer cores. Now we could be really specific here, but we don't really need to. Yeah, we'll allow that too. And that way it's kind of nice. JSON and URL encoded. Now we just need to app.use routes. App.use routes. We've already set our port 3000 by default, and we'll just do our console.log listening on port. So it's pretty normal stuff. Let's go ahead and build our routes. We should probably build or add in something so that it handles the default, but again, I don't really care at the moment. It's a weirdly rough day, and I just want to write some code. Directory API. Let's go over here and build our index.js. Yeah. And then, yep, let's do that. Let's make sure we have our const API routes equal require /API. Then router.use. Yep, that'll be it. But very specifically, we want it to use /API. And that just means that when we go to use it, yeah, this is the type of weird stuff. And we don't need this. Let's take a look though. I'm always interested. Let's look for request handler type string. Let's take a look. I'm always curious about this stuff. Let's dive into it. Let's take a look at what it prefers. Import from import star from express. I wonder why. Let's take a look. Maybe yeah, there it is. I don't know why. How should I express these? Let's see. How should I type that custom field? I see. We really don't need this. We really don't have to worry about it. Let's just not Yeah, let's export to our router. And then our API layer will make a couple different ones. So, let's make a new index.js. So let's do the same thing. So the way that I have it doing is you can build, you have the initial amount that you've paid, like the bill, the reason. So we'll build something for each particular month. So I guess we'll call it a budget item. We'll do budget item .routes.js and do the same thing. So over here, we'll say const budget budget item routes. I don't know why you put the ./routes in front of it. That should be fine, and then we can do router.use, and you're going to be / budget items, and it's budget item routes. And then we'll do modules.exports. Exports router. I don't know what's going on today. So with each of these, we'll attach, for each of our budget items, we'll attach a date, so that we can put something together. All right. So the only other thing I want to do is create a model. So I already have some code that I kind of generally use for that. So we'll just kind of copy that over. Now, if you want, you could use, let's say, your own .env file, but you don't have to. If you don't, we'll just do this. The Mongo URI. Yeah. And when there isn't one set, we'll say it's going to be Mongo URL /budget. And we'll keep advancing versions of this. Now, there are a bunch of other things that we could set up here. But I'll just do the following. Just copy and paste it from something else I've already used. We'll use the Mongo URL. And we'll export it. And then under our models, we'll create a budget item. New file. Budget item.js. It's pretty easy for this one. I don't really have it doing anything special. So const budget item is going to be equal to mongoose dot model. Yeah, we'll call yourself budget item, and we'll use the, shouldn't be daily schema, it should be budget item schema. So, and then module.export budget item. So each of these are going to be pretty easy. So by default, MongoDB will already give me an ID. So we're going to include the date. And it's going to be of type date. I don't really care. It will be required, but I don't really care at this point. The bill itself. And type is going to be a string. So, because that's the name of the bill string. We're going to put the reason for the bill. Type string. And we're gonna put the website. This is where you're gonna go and pay the bill. The method of payment. And normally for a more complex system, you'd have some options that are really specific to it. So like you would say something along the lines of like bank account or debit or PayPal, and then you'd limit those so that people could put those in. Whether it's, I don't know what to call it. The payment system, I guess, would be is either manual or automatic. So we'll call it a payment system. Payment. I don't know. I guess we could call it a payment type. Yeah. Payment type. It's going to be of a type string too. You'd probably switch this over to like an enum or a number down the road. We clearly want the amount. Yeah, type number is fine. And whether, let's do the date submitted. And there's two kind of approaches that you could use for this. So you could say, you could use submitted. So you could say submitted up here as a Boolean. That way you could say, you know, true or false, whether it was submitted, and then you'll have the date submitted. And then you could say whether it's paid or not. Do the same thing, type Boolean. And then for we'll date the date paid. I like doing this because if you've ever paid with checks, or even if you pay online, sometimes they won't do that. Now, some people would have like an auto pay date or anything along those lines, but we're not going to go that complex here. So we have our basic model here. And this is pretty simple. So all we need to do is simply write let's do the button item.controller.js. It should be pretty easy. Now you could build this into something much more complex, but we do need to bring in our item. So we'll go budget item. It's going to be equal require. Yeah, no, that's it. But dot slash model slash budget item. Oh, yeah, come on, help me out here. Budget item. But it looks like it's struggling with this. Let's see. Let's do dot slash models budget item. There we go. Nope, don't help me here. So we're gonna create a couple of our controllers. We really only want to get budget by month. And get budget items. Now, one of the things you probably want to figure out is whether you want to get by month or not. And we're going to get them all. Let's double check let's do mongoose get all by date. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. And we'll do something like this. So yeah, so we'll do a try catch. We'll do a generic catch. We don't actually want to do that. We'll return status of 500.send. We'll send the error. We'll do e.message. For a much more complicated system, you'd not only log it, but you'd also return something nice. So const budget items. Oh yeah, we need to get the date, so we'll get the request. Const month is going to be equal to request.params.month. So const budget items is going to be equal to budget item dot find, and yeah, by month. Oh yeah, we should get the year too. So we can just say where it's greater than. We'll do year. Due date. I don't think we can do that. We're gonna have to do this. Const start of day, end of day. We could use moment, we could use date FNS. If we use date FNS, I think that's fine. But let's look up that. Let's say date FNS. First day of the month, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Start of the month. Let's see. Let's look for node and FNS and date FNS. I'm trying to use not a lot of. Yeah, I guess we can just import it. There's a bunch of documentation on it. So there's that. I guess to import it, we just do npmi date FNS. Let's go ahead and do that. The add. Let's take a look at something here. Using date FNS and node. How can I get the first and last days of. So knowing that, so let's take a look and see what we can find out. What we'll probably do is that. So we could say const. It looks like date FNF offers it. Start of month and end of month. Nope. Date FNS. Cool. So it looks. Yes, I would try to. Yeah, we're gonna pass in a year and a month. Let's take a look and see what we can find out. Let's do this. We got a little function called first and last days of month. Have it accept a year and a month. And const date equals new date, year, month, -1. return. Let's return. And here's where types do come in handy. First day. Let's do first day as start of month date. And let's do last day. Clearly not the start of the month. Sometimes it's a little too helpful. So yeah, we're running into weird delays here. I've been running into that more and more. So let's pull first day and last day. Yep. There we go. So, let's do greater than the first day and less than the last day. And we don't want created on. We want the date. We don't care about when it was paid either. Expected 3. I think I'm off here. Yep. Find curly bracket created date. Nope. We await. And we can actually literally just return, but we'll do a return. There's dot status. 200 dot send budget items. I don't know why it's grumpy about this. It wants 3 arguments, but I'm not going to give it 3 arguments. So we're going to get budgets by month and a year. Did I not write any routes? I didn't. Look at me being an idiot. Let's do that. Kind of our guideline, if you will. Yep, we need router. Let's do a router.get slash. We want to get, and it's not going to be slash. It's going to be year, month, and we'll do get budget items by month. There we go. Post. Let's create budget item, and we'll need a router.put budget item ID, and it's going to be edit budget item, and then finally we'll do a delete. And it will be another budget item ID. Need to keep my capitalization correct. We'll do delete. Budget item. Let's go ahead and create these in the meantime. The create's going to be pretty simple. There's very little to actually modify. We assume that it's automatically correct. Again, normally you would probably add some additional layers to this. Request res. I know how it like offers. You hit enter and then it suddenly is like, ooh, no, we fooled you. You're like, what? Why did you fool me? What's going on here? Why didn't you just put in the thing that you said you were going to put in? Oh well. And again, let's call you a budget item. It's going to be equal to request.body. Yep, that's right. I don't have anything that I need to actually calculate here. I do actually have stuff that I need to calculate up here on the budget items. I can either do it up here or I can do it somewhere else. Let's just keep it simple for right now. But let's do this. Let's do a wait. Budget item. Dot create. Budget item. And then return res.status. We'll do this the lazy way. And by lazy, there's two approaches. So in programming, generally what you'd want to do is you'd want to create fewer back and forth calls to the front end and the back end. But this, because every time it makes a call to the back end, it eats up some small amount of processing power. So in this particular instance, you could do it two different ways, I suppose. So you could do it with the thought process or the thought approach of the following, wherein you make a call to API and then do nothing. And I guess you could say the bad approach would be to make a call to the API, which would then make a call to the database. And then in a second call to the API to get, so you make a call to the API, which makes a call to the database to write the data. Or you make a second call to the API, and then the bad approach would be make a second call to the API, which is again going to make a call to the database to read the information. Now this is bad because this whole thing means you're making two calls to API, two calls to the database. So that's one approach. A slightly better approach is to make a call to the API, make a call to database, make a call to the database, you write the data, then you read the data, then you write the data, and then in the same API call, you make a call to the database where you read the data. And so you're only making one API call, but two calls to the database. And there's nothing wrong with that approach, I think. It's fine. Now there are, I guess, two other approaches you could do. You could maybe best might be to store the information on the front end. Now again, this requires that it's successful. So you store the information on the front end. You make the call to the API. You make the call to the database. You write the data, write the read. What am I doing? You write the data, and you simply return OK. This lets the front end know it was successful, and now that we have a successful call to the back end and everything is okay, just update the front end by adding our stored info to the, let's say, array of items. And this is best because you're only making one API call, and one database call. Now, this doesn't necessarily help in terms of caching. So you would need to worry about doing things like updating your cache so that things like that worked. But we're not talking about caching. So I think this would kind of generally be let the front end know that it's successful. And then you might, if you really wanted to be careful about it, you might have some type of nice way of updating or intelligent way of updating your back end, your cache on the back end. And I say this is maybe best because it's not always. It really depends on what you're doing, but this is kind of the approach. So you'd store the info when they click submit, make the API call, so forth and so on. But in this particular instance, I'm going to just have it make another call. That way, I don't know why. I'm going to do it this time around and kind of add to it. So create the budget item for right now, and kind of go from there. Let's take a look at what other route I need to create. Let it through the edit budget item. Let's do an exports. .edit. You could do an edit or call it an update. If you were to follow CRUD, I guess you might call it update rather than edit. We're still going to do a try catch. I'm going to be lazy about this, like I said. And it's going to be the same thing. Now, when you edit an item, you have a budget item ID that you're going to pass in. So on our controller there, what we're going to do is we're going to create our filter here. And you don't have to. You could put this all inside one long statement. But we're looking for an underscore ID that matches the request params, and we actually call it budget item ID. So we'll put this here. And then you have your new budget item or updated budget item. It's going to be equal to request.body. And now you simply update it. Again, there's no calculations that I have it doing right now here. So we could just simply say await budget item dot. And now there's something called the find one and update. And what we would pass in is our filter. And then our budget item. Goodness gracious. And here we'll just return the same thing. We'll return a status of OK. And then our last particular route is going to be our delete budget item. So you could do an exports delete budget item. Yep, that's always the start of it. Try, catch. Awesome. Oops, a little one too many there in terms of curly brackets. The delete's pretty easy. And now again, we'd normally have some level of validation in here so that we don't accidentally delete something we don't want to. But we can literally just do budget item. And I would strongly suggest that as you go along, you really would care about this. So it's going to be the same thing. We're looking for underscore ID. And yep, no, well, that's right. And then you could just return the status of 200. And this is our basic endpoint right here. Nothing too fancy. Nothing too fancy at all. There's our budgets. There's our routes. Let's insert everything we need here. And there's better ways in which you can do this, much more complicated ways, but I'm going to start here. Let's see if we can get a tune out of this trombone. Let's do node server.js and see what errors we get. Cannot find module budget items. Let's hold on. Oh, it's my fault. Not slash. There it is. Let's see. Router.use requires a middleware function, but got an object. We found this in routes API index. Oh, a couple things I forgot. I need to do a module.exports router. That works. Now it's correct. There we go. Now we're listening on port 3000. We could test it a bit here. Let's open up Insomnia. I like Insomnia. So let's clean these up. So let's add a new HTTP request. We'll just do one test. We'll do just localhost. HTTP://localhost. Let's do 3000. Budget items. And there's nothing in budget items. So it's year. I think I said year. Let's take a look. Year and month. So it's 2024 12. It looks like I messed up. Oh, I called it budget item. Let's change you around to budget items. Oops. And let's restart and actually use nodemon this time. Budget items. Oh, API/budget items. Spend a bunch of time here. Buffering timeout. Let's take a look. Get budget items by month. Year. Let's see if that gives us what we want. I don't think it will. Nope. Let's open up Mongo Compass DB and take a look at our local database. And take a look. Budget. Hold on. Oh. I already have something called budgets. Let's make it a budget v3. Let's close you and restart. Alright, time to debug. Let's see if we're even hitting this endpoint. Let's stop you. And let's put a breakpoint here and debug. Debugger console. Attached debugger. Looks like it stopped. Let's edit our configurations here. I don't got one. Let's add one. Attached to node. Node parameters, working directory, node interpreter. Let's run server.js. Apply. Okay. Debug. Yep, there it is. Send. So, December 2024. December 1. Okay. Nope, that's all right. So let's just keep going then. All right, let's take a look. Let's run that same query here. It looks like because I don't have a budgets, so it's going to fail. So I guess I should try to create an item first. Let's do another request here. Let's do a post. And let's do our budget item here. Stop you. Let's rerun everything. And let's try to create a simple budget item. Let's use some JSON. We want a date. All right, let's try and make a simple JSON object. Let's do a date. Let's do 2024. Yeah, 2024, 04/15. Oh, hold on. Jason's going to be grumpy about the fact that everything's not in quotes. So let's do date. Let's do a bill. I don't know what bill. We'll just call you Bill. Let's do a reason. The reason for it is a test. We don't have a website. And none of this stuff is required, so I probably could just fake it. But let's do it anyway. Method. Let's call it method. Normally we put something in here and just limit the options. Let's do payment type. Let's say it's automatic. And let's do an amount here. Let's do 3,000. Let's just leave the rest blank. None of the other stuff is required. Oops. Much more data up there. So let's do a post request. The body's going to be JSON. And it's going to go to this API/budget items. Let's try and send it. Ooh. It's going to be grumpy about something. Nope. Insert what? Buffer timeout. Let's take a look again. I think I'm missing something. I know what I forgot. I need to initialize my database. So we'll do this. No. We won't require Mongoose. We'll require our models folder. We'll just say up here, initializing DB. There we go. Now we can see that we're connected. And now if we run some of these same queries again, we're empty here. Let's create our request. Cool. Year 2024 and 4. 2024, 4. There we go. So now we have a one of our first entries in here, the date, the bill, all the other stuff that we put in. So a simple API that doesn't really does what we want. We don't actually have to, I think, declare const here. We could just say require modules. And then it'll initialize our database for us. Let's make a front end for it real quick. Just to kind of pass the time. I forget. There's a command for this. Let's take a look. I believe it's just ng new. I believe it's, yeah, there it is. Set up your environment. Yeah, there it is, ng new, and we'll call it app. The last time I ran this, it took forever, but it should give us most of the pieces that we want. I'm going to use CSS, no server-side rendering. And again, for this, I'm just futzing around, just looking to make something simple that I can use to do budget tracking. There's a bunch of other tools that people I know have used, but for some reason, I'm just kind of fading out. I'm a little stressed, and I'm trying to find ways to relieve it, so I decided to write some code. There are some other budgeting tools out there. I know several of them are like, let's go into your bank account and take a look at things. I always felt that was a little intrusive because with the number of security breaches, I'm really hesitant to be like, yeah, this company over here can have access to my bank account. So I prefer not. So I'm building something on my own. Ultimately, I'll probably need to modify it at one point, but let's keep it pretty simple. There's only really one thing in our API project anyway right now. So let's open you up. Let's do this. First of all, let's kill the idea folder in our API folder. There's no get ignore. There is one over here though. We'll create one here as well. Dot get ignore. And we'll do something similar. We want to ignore the .idea folder in case it's ever created again. And we want to ignore node modules. VS Code, yeah. Let's ignore ./idea. Cool. So if we ever push this up, it'll ignore it as well. We're not ignoring any VS Code files, and we kind of should. Let's do the same thing over here. Let's copy you. I guess you already do some of the ideas. Yeah, I like this. None of that. And yeah, it's kind of nice that they do that. Now, sadly, Angular uses TypeScript, so we'll just have to deal with it as it is. And I'm not going to go all into a larger, more complicated. I don't need idea anymore. I'm not going to go into the larger, more complicated versions of it at this point. We have our base app here. And let's take a look. How we might change that. I'm good over here. So you can break this down into a couple different things. Let's create a directory and app for our components. We only have one page for right now, so let's just do one page. I imagine, though, I'll eventually build this into more and more stuff. I will probably need a types folder, so let's do that. Let's do types. And I might have a services folder at one point, directory. I will. So the only real service or place that I'll have is kind of two components. We'll either have our input form. So let's go ahead and use an Angular schematic. Now, what's nice about WebStorm is that it gives you like a nice little tool to help you out. So we can just say component. And we'll call it budget item form. and by putting dash dash standalone, it'll make it a standalone component, and it'll drop it right into our components folder, which is nice. So I'm not going to have any spec at the moment, but I think if you're thinking about this from a larger perspective, you might want to at one point. That's really weirdly aligned. Okay. So we have our budget, and then the only thing we're really going to display after that is our form or our table. So I'll have to add a bunch of stuff into here. So no need for a new directory again. We'll go new Angular schematic component. We'll do a budget item table. Yeah, let's do that. It'll also be a standalone component. And voila. Nice. We'll just kind of keep those where they are for right now. For our pages, we'll just have a home for right now. And it's going to be the same. We can brace this out as if it's its own component. Let's do home, and it's also standalone. That'll go on our pages. We do need a type, and the type is going to come as a budget item, basically. So we'll take all this code, we'll copy it. We're not going to be able to, like, we'll paste it in there for filler, but it's going to be a type of budget item.ts. And let's create it. We'll do an export. Now, it's generally suggested by Angular that we use an interface. Types offer more flexibility, so I've been kind of using those for a while now. And we'll just put this stuff down here as kind of a comment. Yeah. Now, because it's coming from MongoDB, we're going to have an ID, which is going to be a string. No name. Date. I don't know what it looks like. Let's take a look. Let's refresh here. Yeah, budget item v3. Let's look at our budget item. Yeah, it stores it as a date. So let's bring it back as a date. Let's bring it back as a date. That way we, if ever we need to, we can modify it on the front end if we want to like do sorting or what have you and keep it. Bill of type string. Reason of type string. These as we use them. It's pretty chill though. We'll do a website of type string, method string, payment type of string, string, amount of type string. Ooh, no number for that. And we'll actually probably start to add some more custom things in here. So like we'll probably make some enums. So rather than doing a payment type that's a string and the method that's going to be a string, we'll actually start using I'm failing at the moment. We'll actually start using hard-coded strings. That way there are no magical strings or anything like that. And yeah, and like I said, what the general idea is I'll start off here as building a fairly simple front end, and then keep adding to it bit by bit each week, probably for a little while, until I find some other random project that I want to do. Yeah, that's fine. Now, is there a preferred way to do enums? Let's take a look. Is there a preferred approach? Because otherwise I'll just do... Yeah, because I'm going to have a few enums. Let's come over here to app, directory, enums. Yeah, see. Now, one of the things that's kind of nice about TypeScript enums is that you can actually use strings. But let me take a look. So I only allowed but so many different types of enums. I think what I want is a payment method. Yeah, so and it's actually probably, let's change you up. That you should be payment method, and then let's change it on the back end. Ooh, WebStorm's being slow again. I gotta figure out why it's doing that. Because nothing's running right now. Models, budget item. Let's change you over to payment method. Yeah, it's being weirdly slow. I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. Yeah, there's this weird, just takes forever. Where was I? Enums, payment method, yeah. So of the payment methods, we'll do payment methods, payment method.ts, and we'll use, where are you at? Yeah, we'll do it this way. But instead of just enum, we'll do a public enum. I guess we don't really need it. So you're going to be payment method. Now I only have a handful of payment methods for my system. So we'll say debit. We'll do PayPal. Let's say bank account. And I guess credit card. And there's a weird tradition amongst developers to always use capitalization here. I always wondered why sometimes, but it does make sense. I guess we should do the underscore here for bank account. And you should be PayPal. So that's our payment methods. What else? Oh, payment types. There's only two payment types. It's either, and actually now that I'm here, do types allow for date? TypeScript. Type. Date. I think it's just date. Yeah, I see it there. Yeah. No, we can just use date. I guess that should be fine. Get date. TypeScript. Interface state. Yeah, we can just use date. That's fine. Nothing special about those. And then payment type. So new file payment type. And it'll be similar to payment methods. So we'll just grab you. And the payment type, I only allow two, so it's either automatic or manual. Manual. And I apparently forgot the .ts. So it should be renamed to payment type.ts. Nice. And you should be payment type. And you're either automatic or manual. And then we can come back over here and say you're a type of payment method, or you're of type payment type. Nice. So it's either going to be one of those two. Let's go to our pages. Let's get rid of you for right now. And our home page is only going to consist of a handful of things. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff I need to include. I keep forgetting. So I kind of built this pretty fast. Let's go ahead and add in a bunch of items here. One, I'm going to use AG grid. So let's do, we want to do AG grid. Is AG grid community? Yeah, let's do AG grid and font awesome. I used to have like a whole list of stuff. Let's do the following. Let's do Bootstrap, because I want that. Let's go look at what. Let's do AG charts. AG grid. I misspelled it. It's a AG grid. Oh, there we go. AG grid. React. No. AG grid Angular is what we want. There it is, the quick start. Oh, it looks like we can just do that. AG grid. Do I want to use Font Awesome? I don't really need to use it at the moment. Yeah, that should be fine. Just bootstrapping that. And then I'll make one more modification. Then in your modify. Why am I not remembering what it is? Yes, I know what it is. It's in angular.json. I need to add Bootstrap into here. Bootstrap comes with a couple pieces. I'm not using material design, but I am using Bootstrap. So in styles, there it is, styles. And for the scripts, we added here the scripts. Cool. Let's go back to home. And we don't really have anything that budget item or budget item table is doing, so we can just kind of throw them in here. Let's create our div, put you in a container, put you in a row. And again, this is going to be pretty boring. And put you inside of a column. And then now we can do slash at budget item form. It'll import it for us. And right below you, we'll put in the table. App, budget app, table. Cool. Let's see if this will run. Terminal. Let's do an ngserve here. Oops. I need to be in the app folder. ngserve. Sometimes I misspell and put it ngserver. Cool. Let's go to localhost 4200 and take a look. 4200. Yep. But I've messed up something. I need to do my proper routing, which I didn't do. So let's go and fix that up. We don't have any routes here. If we want to, we need to create some. So we would say, yep, path, component, home component. And we could say path home as well. So we could do path home, and instead we could just redirect to /home and path full match. Full. And all this is going to do for us is whenever we go to /home to /, it'll take us to home. That'll be the home component. So there's our routes. We also need to, in our app config, because we do need to hit the endpoint at one point, we need to allow HTTP config. So we'll fix you up. We'll import you. That'll allow us to be able to use HTTP config wherever we want. And now if we come back over to here, this is our app component. Now we should already support the router outlet here. We can just kind of get rid of everything else. And let's take a look at what that looks like. Yeah, there it is. So by going to slash, it takes us automatically to home, and there's our two components, our form and our table. Take a look. So from here, let's kind of build our form out. Now we already have a column kind of in place. And here's where Bootstrap can come into play. So I guess let's do the form first. There are a couple different approaches you could take to this. You could have it so that each of the individual items is each of the individual variables or places in the form is its own thing. But let's actually do it a bit differently. Let's do it this way. We'll say the form is equal to this dot fb dot group, and it's going to be a form group, and I'll show you that in just a moment. And to do this, we need to use our constructor, and what we'll use is built into, yep. Well, there we go. It already knows. Built into Angular is a form builder. That's kind of, it comes with it, so you don't really have to do much. You can choose to import it, and I would suggest that you do. So you could do, for instance, reactive form model. And I don't know if do I want reactive forms? Yeah, I do. So that we can use some form checking inside of our form. So you can have your forms, and then we'll add some validators, so forth and so on. We're going to add an onSubmit in here as well. So let's see, onSubmit. And you don't actually have to do anything in here. You don't have to say that. It'll have all the form details inside of here. We're just not going to do anything with it just yet, but we will. We need our form. So this is the general layout for the form, the general fields that we're going to need. We really won't have an ID per se. We're going to kind of be lazy about this. So rather than delete, we're not going to clear our form. We will, again, continue to add to this down the road, but at this particular point, we're going to be pretty chill and pretty slow about it. So we're going to have our date. We're going to insist that it's required. Let's take away ng form. And we're going to have it be required. Let's do a couple other pieces in here real quick. Oi, 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 oi. We have the bill. Wait, did I really call it the bill? Oh, yeah, I did call it the bill. The reason for the bill, and now it can be something simple, but like, you might have, I'm separating out bill and reason. So for instance, a bill can be your credit card bill, one credit card bill, and the reason for it could be that you put on like a combination of Netflix and other things like that. So I'm separating it out that way. The website, we'll do a payment method. And I don't know why I'm typing these out rather than copying and pasting. The amount. And then I don't care about, is that right? Date, bill, reason, website, payment method, payment type, amount. Yeah, and then for submitted, I don't care whether it's there or not. They don't have to be submitted, but this actually won't be handled here. We'll have it do some validation here. We'll do this. If the submission date is set submission is true. And we'll do it here as well. If the, clearly I can't spell, if the submission date is set, if the paid date is set submission to true. Not try. Can't spell it all, and I still can't spell submission, even though I just corrected myself. Form date submitted. There's no validators for this one. They don't have to submit a date, even though it's me, and I probably will. Date paid. And yeah, we'll leave that as is. That should be all right. Now let's build this form. Also, let's kill Node, because I just don't need it to be running in the background, or Angular, I don't need to be running in the background. Let's build our form here. Now, you could not, since this is Angular and things like React and Vue, you don't actually need a separate form. I think it's probably a good approach from a what's they called, for some of the disability accessibility rules, I believe. So I think that's a pretty good approach to take, so people know that there's a form here. But in theory, you don't have to. Here's where we'll actually call our onSubmit, and the class is going to be form horizontal. Now let's double check something, and we're going to set this up to be a row with a margin top of 2. But again, I would strongly suggest that you use the form and use the accessibility rules. Not everyone is the same, and it's a really good idea to kind of build things so that they're accessible to other people. Even if you may never use them, again, try to think about other people and how they're going to use it. Now, here is one of the things that you can come across. Now, I'm using a date here for the date, or I plan to. Now, here's where we might need to bring in another tool set. You can either decide to use your own, or there are a series of tools that come with that are already pre-built. So, for instance, if we wanted to include material design, Angular, which is what I'm going to use. Yep. And let's read the get started real quick. We could just do this. Let's do that. ng add Angular material. Searching for compatible versions. Yes. Looks like this is pretty easy. We'll perform the following. And I want pink and blue. Let's do purple and green. Sure. Set up the global Angular material typography styles. Yes. Include and enable animations. Yes. And then from there, all we have to do is just kind of use it whenever we want to. So let's try and take a look at what that looks like. So for instance, let's make our label here. And it's for the date. And again, some of this stuff is mainly for things like the label for, so forth and so on. Again, it helps with accessibility. Date. And then what we need to say is mat form field. We do need to import it. And we're going to do a mat label here. And it just stands for material label. And we're going to say choose a date. That's going to be our label. That's going to be inside the little text box, and you'll see what that looks like. We'll put our input here. It's going to be a mat input, and it's for date. And we'll say form control name is going to be date, because that's the name of our field. And then we'll say mat date picker. We want to import it, and we'll say it's called picker. And then we'll actually have to do all of that stuff. So we're not done. We'll say mat hint, and we'll say the hint is going to be month, day, year. That's the hint. And the hint just will display and let the person know kind of what they should it should look like format wise. We'll say here mat date picker, which we've already imported, and this is going to be the toggle for it. And we're going to use the mat icon. We're going to use that, and it's for, and you'll see how all of this kind of comes together. For picker, and then we'll put you down here. We'll say mat date picker, and this is actually what the component is. It's, so we say picker here, and this is the connection for this. So it's for picker, so this is the toggle for it. And this again also, this tells material design that this input pulls in information from this actual date picker. So let's see if it will display for us without delaying forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Come on, WebStorm. There we go. So if we do ngser over here, let's take a look at it. Did I leave something out? I think I am forgetting something. I think I am forgetting something. It's said about mat hint. Let's take a look. Mat hint. Is it though? I wonder if it's because I'm missing something over here. Let's take a look. Mat form field. Do I not have the mat form field module? Oh, I think instead of mat form field, I want the form field module. Let's see if that makes you happy. It's not. No provided for date adapter. Oh, I used Luxon before. So if I'm going to do that, I need a date adapter. So I need to install Luxon. npm my Luxon? Let's see. And then I think in my app config, I think that's it. Let's try you again. ngserve. And okay with that. Tell it input module. One of the things that I do find slightly frustrating about Angular. Trying to figure out what actually are you missing sometimes. And you don't always know. Oh, I know what I'm missing. In my list of providers over here, in my budget item.ts, I need to say providers. Yeah, there we go. Provide native adapter. And there we go. It's not perfect. I think I'm missing something now. Mat form field must contain a mat field control. Let's take a look. Let's take kill you and see if we can re-import you again. Let's go to here. So import. Mat form field is not a known element. Let's import you as well. Still unhappy. Take a look. Let's see. Here, mat must contain a mat form field control. Let's see. Let's contain a mat form field control. Let's take a look. Mat input module, which we did not include. Let's import you as well. There we go. So no, this is not what it looks like. So many little things to import. So yeah, now you just pick a date. But if we refresh, yeah, no, see, so there's our choose a date, and there's our little icon, etc. And you click it and you pick one of the dates. Yeah, so there's our date. And in theory, we don't actually need you to be, let's kill insomnia. We don't actually need you to be up there. So let's actually put you on a new line. Well, we'll figure that out in a moment. Let's do state. Where was I? The bill. Let's do the rest of the items. Do things. So do div class, and once we kind of get most of them down, we'll just kind of copy and paste. Another column label for bill class equal call. And again, you can use different things. Lots of people prefer, or some people prefer, oh, there's another. There are a bunch of JavaScript and TypeScript and CSS libraries out there. Let me pull one up. Tailwinds. Yeah, some people prefer Tailwinds, and they're super in love with it. I don't feel that strongly. Sometimes I'm just trying to get things done, and then I can kind of go from there. I'm fine with this, but you would need to figure out for yourself what kind of how you wanted to set it up. Div class equal column, and input type equals class equals form control. And it's just because I know these. And the ID equals Bill. And form control name is Bill. So we'll do that. Let's take a look at how it looks real quick. So there's our Bill. Date's on a whole new line. Let's put you as form. Let's do the same thing up here so that so it should push date. No, it didn't. I'll get you in just a second. Bill, let's do, what is it? 12 columns in CSS? Yeah, in Bootstrap it's 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool. So let's do the rest real quick. We'll just copy and paste for a lot of them. It's reason website. Payment method we'll kind of figure out in a bit. Amount, and then we'll do another date. So let's do bill. This is going to be amount. We'll probably use a drop down. So let's do website. Let's do reason. All right, and then we'll need some, I guess we could use material design. Let's do material design select. So material design has some select issues, select items that you can use. I already have the select. Material design Angular select. Yeah. So we'll use one of these. Let's take a look at the code for it though. Let's do the, well, there's the foods, there's the HTML for it. Let's do this. So let's do the payment method first. It's going to be very similar to what we've done up here. We're going to create a label, and then inside of that, for date, no, you're going to be a label for payment method. And we'll just keep you all going, payment method. And we'll do, it's going to be this code here. I don't know if you can see that really well. This is what they have, and we'll just loop through our list. So, payment method, cool. Mat select. Let's take a look at what the code looks like again. Yeah. So it looks like if we do a mat label there, let's kill our date up here. Let's keep our mat label inside here so that we don't have to do that. Then we could say mat select, import it so that we have it. And now we have to create our list of items. And I think we should be able to do this. So let's look for TypeScript, convert enum to array. Because rather than recreate it, yeah, here we go. We'll do this. So that means we'll come over here to our TypeScript, and we'll do a getter. We'll do a get of, what do we call it? get payment methods. And it's going to return our object values for payment method. I think. Let's take a look. Cannot convert. Doesn't seem to be right. Object value colors. Why are you not available? Oh, I didn't export you. 'Cause I'm silly. And it didn't even give me a warning. 'Cause I'm silly. Export budget item. Now you should be accessible. Let's find. So this should now has a getter. Let's see what that would come back as. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just call you P payment method. Track payment method. PM. I don't. Yeah. Let's see what happens. You need to insert mat option. Wait a second. Wait a second. It's not wrapped inside of a div. Let's see if this will work. Man, Control C is just killing me, man. I gotta figure that out. See what you look like. Payment method, debit, so forth and so on. Let's take a look though. I think somebody said that there's another way to do this. Will be emitted as this. So. Let's see. There's a nicer, slightly cleaner way, because I do like the first one. Well, maybe not. Enum to descripted. Oh, this is nice. The mapper. Produce an array of enum values. That's nice. Target. I see. I like this function. Extends. Black, white, 0, 1. Let's give it a try. I like this. App. You call you utilities. A new file. Utils.ts. Let's create this type over here too. Cool. They all kind of go together. Export type non-functional. Now it did enumeration. I guess we'll assume that it's of a type any. What are you grumpy about? Enum. Looks like it's not quite right. Object keys. No overlord matches this call. It doesn't look like I can use it, but I did like it. Get values, get names. What's this though? This is a nice helper list. I wonder what this looks like. Get select list. This values. Get select as array. Get names and values. Export. Let's play around with this. I like this. Do I want the whole thing though? So I can always write my own. I don't know if it's worth it sometimes though. Like, it might be slightly quicker, but I don't know. Yeah, let's try to write something. Oh, fiddlesticks, I forgot to do you. Let's actually let it be for the moment. And let's finish the form. Bill, reason, payment method. Those are some ugly colors. Let's do getter, get payment type. And we'll do the same thing. Return object.values of payment type. Then, yeah, payment type. Of type, get payment type. Payment type. Type. Value, payment type. Payment type. And I guess we should say it's form control name equals payment type ID equals payment type. Yeah, we'll do that. The payment method and payment method. And the amount, and then we'll use the date for submitted and paid. Same thing up here with the date picker, so yeah, so let's take a look. 1 and 2. Choose a date. Picker form control. So you are choose a date. So you for date submitted. Date submitted. Date picker. I think we can have 2 on the same, or 3. Let's see if it'll work or whether it'll complain. And it's unhappy. Yeah, I need to pick a different picker. So this is submitted picker, I believe. So Matt date picker is going to be submitted picker. Submitted picker. You're going to be the paid picker. Bean picker. Come on. You're killing me, Smalls, with this copy and paste nonsense. Alright. This is killing me too much. Let's take a look. WebStorm. Freezing. On copy and paste. Same problem. It's probably due to created yesterday. There's a new build. Let's see. Let's see about this first one. Allow decompilation to be canceled. File settings, plugins installed. I don't think I have that. So, alright, let's keep going. App. Yep, there it is. I need to make these slightly bigger. Let's move you down. They look terrible though. So let's move you. I mean, at least they all kind of collapse. But let's make you slightly larger. So let's do a call -2 for you. And then a call -2 for you. Call -2 for you. This is making the columns wider. And then for mount, we'll do the same thing here. Yeah, see? They're still uneven, and I probably want to fix those. Payment, automatic manual, payment method, debit, bank account, credit card. And then there's no submit. It'll automatically submit if I hit the enter key. This is a terrible look so far. I'll probably move away from this. Which is this? I really like this kind of look. It's pretty subtle. Do I have to use that color? I might just switch over to a different drop-down design. I'll play around with this in a bit. So here's the basics. Let's go ahead and create the service though. It actually submits everything over. We'll call you new file. We'll call you the budget item service.ts. We'll use a couple different things in here. So first we need to make an injectable. Come on, help me out here. There we go. And provided in root. That's exactly what we want. We need to make sure we create an exportable class. It's not called app service. You're going to be the budget item service. We'll do something similar to what I've done before. And since we only really have one bit of data, yeah. I'll call you the data subject. It's going to be equal to a new behavior subject of type budget item. Yeah, no, that's actually right. We'll use a constructor in here. And the constructor will include the private HTTP client so that we can actually reach out and make our calls. Now normally what you'd probably do in this particular instance is rather than just dropping it all in here, this is our API URL. And for this particular one, it's going to be localhost 3000 slash, I think I just called it budget items. And we will fetch our budget items. Yeah, let's go ahead and fetch it now. We'll fetch it as an observable. Yep, of type. You had it there, and then you messed it up. An observable of budget items is what we'll come back with, and we'll return this dot HTTP get. And again, this is not by any means complete. Budget item. Come on, I'm messing up here. And yeah, get items, but we're gonna need to pass in a date, because we need to pass in a month and a year. So for right now, we'll just keep it at the current. We're actually going to change this later on, but for right now, we'll just hard code it. And there's no other options that I need to bring back. And we'll do a pipe, and we'll tap. Data of type budget item. And when this happens, this dot data subject dot next. So when it's finished, it'll pass on that data. And we need to include tap from RxJS. Cool. Oh, come on. I really don't like that. I don't know. Come on, man. It didn't used to do this. I might just have to up the memory. Anyway, where was I? So that's our fetching of our data. We don't have the delete data. Let's do our add data real quick. Add budget item, and it's the data as the budget item. We're not actually returning anything, so you're just gonna return nothing. Well, yeah, I guess we are. Guess we're gonna return an any. I don't quite know what to classify it as, but we'll get to you in just a moment. So you're gonna return this .htp. We're doing a post request. There's nothing that it's actually gonna return. I think my post request is actually going to just have me return a string. So let's bring back a string. And we're going to hit localhost again. I think that's it. I don't know why I'm looking somewhere else. I put the route over here. Yeah, post to just slash and it creates the budget item. And it should be a backtick. And that's it. Now once it's done, we're gonna pipe again. We're gonna tap again. And normally what we're going to do is then this dot fetch budget items dot subscribe. So then that prepares us for that. And then the only thing we have to do is on our form here is when we do an on submit, we'll do our check here. No, the form already will check us for us. So what we would say is const let's call you a budget item is going to be equal to this dot form dot value. And we'll say this if we can do it as a ternary, so b item dot submitted is going to be equal to, and you're going to be a budget item. I guess I need to do a conversion, or I could say partial. Yeah, let's do a conversion. Or we could just build it. Let's... Alright. Let's do this. We'll submit it. So we'll say when we have to... we'll submit it and actually have our API handle it. Yep. Yes, we will. So we need to come over here to our constructor, and we'll create a private budget item service, BI service. It's going to be equal to a type of budget item service. So then we can come over here to say this dot BI service dot add budget item this dot form dot value dot subscribe, and now I think, yeah, let's change you over to any, otherwise you're going to be grumpy. And then if you really wanted to, you could be much more specific and have it do a lot more checking. I don't really have it, I'm not expecting it to do anything. And then over here on our controllers, when we add in an item, we could have it do some calculations, create, yeah, there it is. So here's our calculations. If we'll say budget item dot sub is going to be equal to budget item dot date submitted, and we'll just boolean it. The same thing for paid. Same thing over here in the edit. Let's see. I think that kind of gets us where we want. I guess I should actually put a submit button somewhere on here. Yeah. Submit. Yeah, it'll validate the form for us too. Stop you. Let's start you and create one for the backend to nodemon server.js. Now I'm going to nodemon because I might need to modify some things. So let's come back over here to our form and break it. Let's say we paid a bill today. Let's say that we paid the Patreon bill. We don't specifically have a reason for it. Let's say the website's patreon.com. The payment web method is PayPal. Payment type is manual, or actually automatic. Let's call the amount $20. And I don't have any labels here. So let's do the date submitted was the 1st, and the date paid was the 5th. And it's gonna be about something. Oh, I need to change that. I left the reason to be validated, or I'm sorry, I left reason as required. Submit. Let's take a look. And I did several things wrong. So, 1, let's make reason not required. 2, in my service here, it is API/budget items, because you know it is. And then just choose a date. Bill. So yeah, let's do Patreon again as an example. Reason, let's leave it blank. Patreon.com, payment method, PayPal, payment type automatic, amount $20. Choose date. It happened on the 1st and left that. Cool. And now if we, I don't have it displaying it yet. Now if we come over here to our budget items and refresh, I don't know if you can really see it very well. But yeah, here it is. Patreon.com, reason submitted true, paid of false. Oh, I know what I did. Routes controller. Oh, I said paid, and you should use date paid. And you should also use date paid. So this is a very terrible, horrible looking form, but it does work for submitting data to the back end. It does create our single record here. So there's nothing particularly weird or unusual about that. And now we just need to be able to recall it back and display it. And then we'll start adding some other functionality like grouping it all together, cleaning it up, so forth and so on. But this is a pretty quick, kind of dirty CRUD application that allows you to take a budget item, save it, so forth and so on. Hopefully that helps somebody, maybe not. Anyway, I'm just going to keep on writing code today, or keep on writing code and, you know, see where it takes me. Keep building things. I'm going to take away the website here. I do want the bill. I do want the payment method amount submitted. None of the other things are required. Well, that's already handled. And then I'll probably work on the table next week, and then I'll start cleaning up the form and so forth and so on. All right, let's call it a night there. Thank you again for joining me while I write some code. I'll keep working on this. I probably make progress, a bunch of progress, before and after, but I'll keep working on this. Thanks for tuning in again. I hope you have a good rest of your week. It's Monday, 2024, April 15th. It's also tax day for those who didn't do their taxes, at least in the United States. It's 10:06 p.m. Thank you for joining me. Have a good evening. Take care and be safe. Oh yeah, and if you have any projects or ideas that you'd like to see me work on in terms of programming, I'm not doing any games, but if there's other